Good morning, everyone. I have some technical difficulties here. Give me one moment to pull this stuff up. I hope everyone's doing well. It's Thursday. Um, November 30th is the final day of November, final day of the month, right? Let's see what kind of action we have. As yesterday, we started a pretty strong sell off in the equity market. We'll discuss that. We'll look at some levels here. We had the PCE report that came out this morning. It's the Fed's number one inflation gauge, realistically, and it came out fairly flat. Right, it's not a super hawkish, super dovish report. Initially, we had a little bounce before this sell side did open up, and we have some Cybertruck news to begin with, in oil. Those are the main topics of conversation before we run into some of the analysis for the S&P 100 futures. So it will be the biggest product launch of anything by far on Earth this year, said Elon Musk ahead of the highly anticipated Cybertruck launch. Stated for 3 p.m. Eastern Time. As the curtains get pulled back, investors will closely watch Tesla's formal entrance into the pickup truck market with an electric twist. So following the introduction of its commercial-oriented Tesla Semi exactly a year ago, production of the Cybertruck has already been delayed several times since the announcement in 2019, 4 years ago. And while today's event will generate some kind of big buzz, expect the company to only dole out the first 10 or so EV pickups. So, in light of that, right, news, let me just go over to maybe a different chart here so we can throw Tesla here on the screen. Given all the specs and enormous production challenges, it will be hard to reach high volumes initially, but keep an eye out on the pricing, the pricing, the speed, and the model's variant. Cybertruck is also Tesla's first high voltage vehicle, giving it a benefit of faster charging, while its angular design has split the industry into lovers and haters generally. Right? Let me know. Are you a fan of what's going on in the Cybertruck right now? Armor glass and ultra hard stainless steel exoskeleton made from similar material used for rockets at SpaceX should be able to withstand 9mm bullets, though it is costly as well as complicated to cast and weld together. Now you can see here Tesla on the screen. It's rallied from our green little box of love pretty well. I do still like the upside into about 260 on Tesla, but it is lagging compared to some of its tech counterparts. Right? We'll see if the launch today and the news today gives this thing a little spring, right? A little spring in its step. So, I mean, we dug our own grave with the Cybertruck. This is what Elon Musk said on Tesla's most recent earnings call. Cybertruck's one of those special products that come along only once in a long while, and special products that come once in a long while are just incredibly difficult to bring to market to reach volume and be prosperous. He went on to predict that Tesla will end up with roughly 250,000 Cybertrucks a year, probably sometime in 2025, though it will take a year to 18 months before a significant positive cash flow contributor comes from this Cybertruck. So, Wedbush Securities analyst Dan Eves notes that while the vehicle may not be a major sales driver for the company, the model's introduction is significant to the broader growth story and could recharge the broad Tesla halo effect. The market for full-size pickup trucks is large, with Ford, General Motors, and Toyota Motor all generating huge profits, as well as a Cybertruck. Reservation tracker even estimates that net reservations currently stand at 2.1 million. The Cybertruck will compete against all electric models such as Ford's F-150 Lightning, GMC's Hummer EV, Rivian, and all electric Chevrolet Silverados, and the upcoming Ram 1500 REV. Further down the road, the Fisker Alaska pickup truck and Canoe from GOEV pickup truck are expected to enter the market, so we'll see how that shapes up. I think Tesla is one to watch today. I know there's a lot of bulls entering this market on Tesla, and with this event, it should be very interesting. I do want to see, as long as they could sustain around that 242 area, there could be some pickups on the long side, right? Something I'm going to be looking for, potentially for some options today. So crude oil. Crude futures continue to rise as OPEC and its allies are reportedly considering new oil production cuts, right? This is I don't know why I started typing oil. Why? This is one of the main things. Yesterday we had a. Whoops, that's Tesla. Sorry, let's see. Yesterday we had a nice pop in the oil market, right? I've been buying oil in different varieties over the past week or so, right? I think we're in our lovely little green box, and I like how this is shaping up for oil for the potential continuation. As long as we start running above that 80, 81 area on the futures, there should be a nice realistic pop back towards that 90 region over the next few weeks, the way I see it. So, OPEC and its allies reportedly considering new oil production cuts such as much as 1 million barrels per day, which could be announced at the start of the cartel's high-stakes policy meeting. I believe we have them coming on the wire today, if I'm not mistaken. And Saudi Arabia, which unilaterally cut production by 1 million barrels per day in June, favors further cuts naturally to push prices up, while African producers Nigeria and Angola reportedly have been resisting a downgrade or of their individual quotas. Delegates said that the rollover of more of the most existing output curbs is the most likely scenario, but talks are continuing. So COP28 climate talks will also kick off today in the United Arab Emirates. A hydrocarbon heavyweight within OPEC that plans to raise its oil production capacity to 5 million barrels per day by 2027. So, a lot of news surrounding that, right? We do have some major resistance if we map it out somewhere at this, what is it, like 79.70 on oil. But if we can make a move through that 80.30, I think we can start the first expansion in the oil or CL market. This morning, like I said, we had the PCE index that came out, the Federal Reserve's #1 gauge of inflation data. We also had jobless claims. We had Fed's Williams that started speaking on exploring innovations in the central bank, or I believe he's speaking now. And then we have Chicago PMI 945, pending home sales at 10, EIA natural gas, and some other stuff on the docket into the end of the day that don't really interest me that much. So right now, Tesla, it looks like there's potentially some good news that could unwind today. Other than that, if we look at the S&P 500, the equity market yesterday, we had a very strong downward shift from our beloved 94, 95 area that we were talking about. We shifted lower, 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 lower. We tagged that mid 50, which is a major region where sellers got very trapped in the prior days, surging a nice upward move on the overnight session and now pulling back based on the information that we gathered from the PCE. So we also have this major resistance where a lot of sellers opened up larger positionings around 76, 77. That's huge, huge, huge. As long as offers continue from there, I think the downside does persist in the equity market. We're in the midst of trying to break back into a distribution lower, which would suggest further sell would be appropriate in this market. I think that sell gets canceled out once 78.81 breaks. So until that happens, I think dips into mid 50s, low 50s, and 40s are the only viable regions the way this stands right now. So I'm going to see how this shapes up on the session for the S&P 500 futures, and we will go from there. So sorry, a little delayed on the start today, but hope everyone has an amazing Thursday. We're wrapping up the week tomorrow with Friday, and if you're tapping out today, enjoy the weekend. We'll see you guys next time. Check out TradeProAcademy.com. And remember, our promo for our live trading room and Discord and a bunch of other things, especially the psychology